Well,
5 o'clock.
I mean,
We
5 o'clock?
are
Oh.
live.
Yes,
Sorry,
we
Kevin.
are.
Kevin's
You
like,
5
always do
o'clock.
that. You always do that.
Click. All right.
We're
Yeah,
live.
Yep. Time to 5 o'clock. There we go.
Anybody seen a Sasquatch before? No, I haven't.
I gotta be punctual, you know. I got 5 o'clock.
You know what, Christy? You just said that. Remember the old milk cartons? Have you seen me?
Yeah. Have you seen me?
That would be cool if we can get some milk cartons. I mean, not real milk cartons, but you know, a milk carton and stuff with "Have you seen me?" and then a picture of Bigfoot on it. You know,
hey,
what
we
I mean?
should make that.
You know what I mean? All we got to do is just go get a milk carton, dissect it,
And
to lay
say
it
missing,
flat,
missing. Have you seen me?
to lay it flat, and then get a pattern, and then just have them print. You know,
That would be
Hey,
cool.
Squatchaholic. Our moderator, thank you.
yeah.
We got Butch, we
Yeah.
got Parkway, and that's it.
Hey,
that.
Parkway.
We only got 2 people in the house. 3.
Well,
Parkway's been prowling all over my videos.
hey, that's a good thing, man, because he's incredible.
Who?
When Parkway's good
Parkway.
at tracking things through the video,
Mm.
the video and stuff. When I discovered my group, I think it's called Something Growled at Me in this area.
Yeah.
He spent a week on that video and stuff, man. And he literally sent me screenshots from where he was and growled at me to where he moved to where he got low. He got in the thin brush and he balled up to look like a bush,
Or stump.
and then moved back to where he stood up. He tracked him all the way. He's like, he's right here, he's right here, he's right here. Screenshots of the whole thing. And he did the same thing on the Northern Idaho video.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, JJ Cryptid, hi. Patrick Cassidy. Carol and Bill.
Carol and Bill, how are you?
Oh, Duke.
Bigfoot Radio in the house.
Bigfoot Radio. Whoop, whoop. Hey, is he gonna? Hey, Duke, you gonna get what's his face? What did I say? What's his name?
Duke.
Duke. Oh, yeah. Well, I already knew that, but is he gonna get what's his name that we had on here last week on his radio station?
I don't know. Wait, hold on.
Yeah, Moorhead. Yeah, Ron Moorhead. I don't know why I wasn't thinking Ron Moorhead.
How do you forget that name?
I know. I was thinking of something else. I was thinking of that thing that you told me in my video, and I'm thinking of that way it moved, and I'm like, okay, what was that guy's name?
Right. So you had a fun Friday night, Lewis.
Huh?
You had a fun Friday night, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. I had a live. That one.
Yeah.
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 You were a guest on Manimal Research.
Yeah, I know. I was like, well, I was supposed to do it on Thursday, and then they had a tornado watch over there. So
yeah,
so that was and so they said Friday. So I thought that's even better because it was raining here, so my connection's all jacked up when they do that.
All right.
So yeah, I don't know. It was all right. It was kind of weird being on the other end, you know.
That's what I was just gonna say. It's
a
whole nother world being on the other end.
And the thing is, my mind's moving so fast, but my mouth ain't catching up. And I want to say everything that's in my mind fast. So then I'm like trying to say everything that I want to say, but I'm skipping a lot of stuff. And I'm like,
right,
grief, back it up.
Right.
I hate that.
I know exactly how you feel. You got so much to say in so little time to do. You end up jumping around and stuff like that just because your brain is going a million miles a minute.
Yeah, there's a lot of detailed stuff that I didn't say because of that. That would have added to the story a little bit better. I mean, overall, I got everything in. Most of the stuff that I wanted in there, but like the stuff that would actually bring it together better. But I'm happy with that. But I still didn't get everything I wanted out. You know, I still got the the time before when I got the drone stuck, then the Bigfoot worked its way past me. And then when he crossed the valley and he went up the mountain and I went up, and then he made a track with 17-inch footprints, 7 of them.
Yeah, and you posted those videos recently, man. Those are, you got the little baby squatch.
Yep, the baby one, yeah. And then I just now put up the older baby's footprints up. Oh, here it comes. Hold on. Ta-da! Howdy.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, pretty good.
Kevin.
How you doing, old bear? You hanging in there?
Oh, same as always, buddy.
Right on. So, well, I think I'm not frozen no more. Computer was stuck on stupid for a second.
Yeah, that happens.
Yep. Dave, you're a truck driver, obviously, in case anybody here doesn't know that, and you get firsthand accounts from all over the country.
Yeah.
Do people recognize you from your channel, or are you just well known within the trucker community that if someone sees something or has an experience, they know who to call?
Well, I get recognized through the channel a lot. I'll give you, for instance, I was in South Carolina, and this young lady was there with her parents at a rest area. I had to stop there for overnight. And I was coming out of the rest area, and she saw me and screamed, "Mom, it's Oldbear!" And ended up spending about an hour talking to her, gave her a tour of my new truck, and we talked Bigfoot with her for probably 30 minutes. And she wanted the picture with me and everything. And, I was completely flabbergasted and embarrassed, actually.
But you know what? You made that kid's day. Let me tell you. That kid probably didn't stop smiling for a month. You know what I mean? So.
Well, that means she's still smiling, because that was just a couple of weeks ago.
She's probably still smiling, and she's probably still telling all of her friends and showing everyone the picture. And that's cool. That's really cool that you get recognized like that.
Good grief.
So you've had your own experiences, though.
Yeah. Actually, here within the next week and a half, I'm going to start doing the past 30 years on my channel.
Oh, nice.
The good, the bad, the ugly, didn't make any difference. I'm going to put them out there, and everybody can
make their own decision. Yep. That's what you got to do. You know what I mean? You got to be transparent, Yeah. It's such a controversial topic. I mean, you got to put it all out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to be transparent. If you want to be even just remotely believed a little bit, man, you just got to let it ride, So, So what do you got planned in the future other than your 30 years with Bigfoot?
Well, I'm still going to get reports. Talk to people out there when I'm on the road. And if it's a bad situation, I'm gonna go help the people if they need it. I mean, I'm getting old. I'm getting a little slower, but I'm a little wiser, so I don't do stupid things anymore. At least I hope I don't.
Yeah. You stop and think now before you go charging into a situation. You know, which is good, especially with these forest people. You know what I mean? You go charging in there all gung ho, it might not end well. You know, so
Yeah. The only thing is it seems like it's not the older Bigfoot that are causing a lot of trouble. It seems like the young ones, the juveniles, are the ones that are slapping people's houses, walking in to where girls are laying out at their pool, and I find that's what scares me the most. It's it's the younger Bigfoot, and I don't know if the older Bigfoot in the clan is losing control of the younger ones or whatever, but it's a young man's game to help these help families, their house or their pets being ripped apart, and that's the ugly part about Bigfoot. Sometimes they'll do things that you would hope they wouldn't, but it still happens.
Yep. Yeah, those little ones are really active. I know that too. They're little terrorizers.
yeah, I think they're testing. They're testing their boundaries. They're seeing how close they can get to something. They're seeing how far they can take something. They're testing their boundaries along with testing themselves. And plus within each other, they're probably trying to figure out where, say you got a group of 3 teenage, Sasquatch out there. They're trying to figure out where they fit in with each other also. So, I mean, just like people, you know what I mean? They're all just like the animal world. You got your male lion, and then he has his pride, and you get some young male lion coming in trying to take the old one down to move in on the pride, and I mean, you can take the animal out of the wild, but you can't take the wild out of the animal. You know what I mean?
No, you can't do that. That's an impossibility. Man has learned that the hard way for years, and
that's right.
It's just not. It's not a great thing to have to deal with.
Yeah, I mean,
you ever go to those rest stops and find any weird activity when you go into rest stops with your semi? Because I've heard a lot of encounters with people seeing Bigfoot when you're in those remote areas. And there's the wood line, and normally they're by the trash cans and stuff like that. When they wake up and they're like,
yeah, I've had accounts of a Bigfoot walking through a rest area in North Carolina. Actually through the gorge between Asheville and the Tennessee line. I actually found a couple of X's at one rest area there in near north of Charleston, South Carolina on I-26. Near Orangeburg, South Carolina is where it was at. And I've had other truckers tell me about, getting their trailer getting slapped or hearing the dumpster get, something ripping the lid off the dumpster and trash be everywhere when they get the next morning and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
I've heard stories the same thing. I've heard one particular story, a truck driver pulled into one of those rest areas and had to get his 8 hours sleep because it's required, and think about 3.5 hours into him laying down in his bunk, they heard this big smack on the side of the trailer. Yeah, the heck?
Yeah.
And he gets in the cab, looks around, and it's like, there's no other cars around here. I'm the only one in this. What the heck was that? Got out of the cab with this thumper, because you know what a thumper is.
Yeah.
Got out of the cab with the thumper, starts walking down the driver's side of the trailer, and he heard something shuffle on it, like footsteps, like shuffling.
Mm-hmm.
As he walked down and he got around and stuff, and he said there was a freaking 8 foot tall Bigfoot standing there, man. He just turned around, went back in the cab, pulled locked everything up, pulled the curtains, and just laid there and just went, okay.
Well, I mean, it's not only rest areas. I've had truckers come up and tell me a couple pulled off the interstate, I-44. It runs down from St. Louis, Missouri, down, and it goes over into Oklahoma. And they pulled off and goes through a little bit of Arkansas. And they were using that as a shortcut to go down and hit I-40 to go further west. And they pulled off at a exit ramp, a wide spot on an exit ramp, and the husband got out to go around and go around the other side of the truck because he had to go, and he got out, walked around there, went and did what he had to do, and then walked back around, got in the cab of the truck, and turned the headlights on, and there was a female Bigfoot walking down the exit ramp towards the truck because it was sitting there with the lights on. And as soon as he turned the headlights on, it stopped, stood there for a few seconds, and just slowly walked down the side of the exit ramp. Like, what are y'all doing here? It's kind of
What are
funny.
you doing in
know
my
what
spot?
Hey, I mean, she liked the lights, the pretty colors. You know what I mean?
I guess.
Who knows? I mean, my father-in-law lives in northern Idaho. I mean, we start stopping at the rest stops from northern California all through Oregon and Washington. And I'll tell you what, some of the best places I've seen structure-wise is right behind all of these rest stops in Oregon. In Oregon, all about Oregon and stuff. I mean, you've gotten several emails and
Well,
from
I've
Oregon,
been to Oregon. I
yeah.
mean, up on I-84, between 3 Mile Mountain and what they call Cabbage Patch, which is on the way to Portland.
Right.
And we used to go out there and deliver carbon out there to a power plant before you get to Portland. And right at the top of Cabbage Patch, there's a rest area. And I pulled in there one day and was talking to a trucker, and just talking to him, he said, "Yeah, man," he said, "I stayed here last night. There was snow on. It was thigh deep." And he said, "Yeah, I was sitting here last night asleep," and said, woke up and went to go to the little rest outhouse they had there at it. And while I was in there, and then he came back to the truck. When he came back to the truck, there was human type footprints that were 4 or 5 inches longer than his boots that walked right behind his trailer in thigh deep snow. And he said you could see the prints. I mean, and it walked right across the parking area and went over to the other side of the road and went right straight up the mountain.
I've walked in thigh deep snow. It ain't easy. And I sure as heck ain't climbing the side of a mountain in it either.
No.
You know what I mean? I mean, to go 100 yards up a 45-degree angle in thigh deep snow would take you probably a better part of 6 or 7 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Well, the funny thing is I've been out there quite a few times going to Oregon, going to that power plant. And the last time I went out, there's a right of way just before the rest area. And I went through there at 7 o'clock in the morning, bright daylight. There was nothing in that right of way. There was no prints, no nothing. It's covered with snow, probably a foot of snow. And when I came back, I stopped at the rest area and walked through the woods. There's maybe 20 yards of woods, and it was still pretty deep snow through there. And looked up and down the right of way. And when I looked up the right of way, there was a set of tracks that went across the right of way. They weren't there when I came through at 7 a.m.
Well, I mean, you know as well as I do and stuff. People say, oh, they're nighttime, beings and stuff like that. No, they're not. They're anytime they want to be beings. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they move around when they want to, or when they get up and they get hungry, they go get something to eat. They don't.
That's right. So
cat nappers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's about the gist of it. They just get tired. They go take a nap for an hour wherever they are, and get up and move on and go do their thing for a little bit more and take, like Lewis said, cat nappers. So
yeah. So how have things been going out your way, Cal?
Well, I got some stuff to work through. I made some mistakes, and now I'm gonna have to earn my way back in, and but I still walk out of there every day, so I didn't piss them off that too bad.
Well, that's a good part.
Right. So, but I'm gonna do that work and get back to good old. I don't even know what you would want to call it. I mean,
I mean, what you would call it. I mean, you're lucky. I mean, you have come upon Bigfoot that they accept you being around, and they don't get upset about everything.
Right.
But back in the East, you do the least little thing, and they throw tantrums, and they're not pretty usually.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I think we talked a little bit after I was on your show last time, and you like, hey man, you want to trade Bigfoot? I'll send you mine, and you send me yours, man. Cause
yeah, because back here, buddy, they if you do something wrong, they take personal offense to it, and they throw a temper tantrum like a 2-year-old. Like you just took that 2-year-old's favorite toy away from them, and they get a little bit upset and very physical about things back here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Might be just the area maybe you live in versus his area. Like maybe our area, we can't just shoot Bigfoots whenever they want, out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like your area back east, you could probably be in the woods, and they, if they come around there, oh my God, we can't do that. We go to prison.
Yeah. I think your area, Oldbear, is very ripe with hunters. Yeah, you get a lot of people walking around with guns and stuff like that. I'm sure there's been some instances where people have had experiences and didn't know what to think and just started firing blindly into the bushes and
out of scaredness,
and like my area and Lewis's area, very heavily populated. They're used to seeing us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they've never had an instance where any human has ever tried taking pot shots at them. You know what I mean? So I think it's definitely a geographical thing, I mean, if I were a Bigfoot in your area and stuff, I'd be a little more aggressive too if people were taking pot shots at me.
I'd move to California if I was
right.
pack my stuff and leave.
Well, it's that, but the East was the first part that was actually populated by the white man. And all the settlers, and then we moved west and further west, and then you had mountain men to go out into the Sierras and all the mountains, the Rocky Mountain Range and everything. And I'm sure that some of those mountain men, when they were out there trapping and everything, ran into the creatures because they've been around since this country, was made a country, and even before then. And if you listen to a lot of the older stories and a lot of the older accounts of the Indians, they had problems with some of the Bigfoot would do things. But yeah, once muskets and modern to the thing, they go out in the woods here in the East and go deer hunting and stuff, and they get scared easily. And, the Bigfoot have been shot at for longer here than they were in the West, but still you have, it's just, you'll find pockets of Bigfoot that are super aggressive towards humans across the U.S. and in Canada.
Yeah.
Anywhere there's a Bigfoot, they can be aggressive towards humans when they want to be, because they are a lot bigger than us.
Oh yeah.
Just a little.
I've got my area and stuff, and I go in there all the time and hang out and take them apples and stuff like that. And Lewis has his area and stuff, and he won't go up one side of the mountain because that's where the male is, and he just gets a vibe that if I go up there, it's not going to end well. And and I've been in areas here in Southern California where I felt that if I did something wrong, they were going to let me know very quickly. You know what I mean? If I was going somewhere they didn't want me to go, they're going to tell me, and they did. You know what I mean? So again, it goes both ways. You know what I mean? They're very human-like in that sense. You know what I mean? You got good ones, you got bad ones.
Depending on if you're in an area where their children are, they're going to become aggressive. They don't want you near their kids. They don't want you human.
And I will speak from experience on that one. That's I think that's where I lost one of my cameras. Was in an area where there were little ones around, which is why they barricaded the trail on me. And when I tried going back 6 weeks later to get through that barricade, I had one growl at me and throw a rock. I threw it back, and it threw a bigger rock. And I'm going, we're cool. We're cool.
Right.
All right. You can have the camera. I'm out.
And not only that, it's also the person and the individual that walks in there. If you got bad intentions, they can feel it. They know it.
Oh, yeah. I think dealing with my group, it's definitely taught me a lot about humans and how they operate and stuff like that. And it's also taught me a lot about them and how they operate from staying hidden from the humans. And it's also taught me a lot about wildlife. Now, take a dog, for instance. All you have to do is think about reaching for a dog's ball, and they're already up, tail wagging, ready to run. You haven't even picked up the ball yet. They can sense your intention. So, I'm sure all animals can sense, something. You know what I mean? That's how they survive. It's that sixth sense and stuff. You know what I mean? Follow your gut. Just
Right.
And I think absolutely. They know your intention. They know whether you're good or bad, and from the time you park your car and close that door, they're watching you. You know?
Oh, yeah.
They're watching you. So, you know.
Yes, they are.
And,
Well, that's what happened. We went to North Carolina to help a lady out. The Bigfoot were watching her through her windows and walking across her yard and all this stuff. And I went behind her house, and all I had with me was a machete, because there was bamboo around behind her house and I had to cut my way through. And I got back there where the actual, the oaks and pin oaks and red oaks and everything was, and got near a brushy area and just walked past it. And I was actually going back to the house, and I had a female. Oh, she must have just been old enough to have young ones. And she came out of the brush and charged me on all fours. And when I turned around and faced her, she looked at me like she stopped, and she was growling at me. And I said, look, one of us is going to walk out of here, and it ain't going to be you. It ain't going to be pretty. It ain't going to be fun. So let's just not start this. And it was like she turned her head and could understand, what I was saying to her. And she took a couple of little movements with her feet and her hands towards me. And I said, let's not go there today. Hey, I didn't come back here to cause any trouble. I just wanted to come back and look what was going on. I didn't come back here to bother you. Didn't come back here to bother any of your young ones. Let's just call it quits at this point. And she just finally just turned around and started slowly walking on all fours back into the brush and disappeared. And, I didn't know that they had little ones back there, because I didn't find any tracks of little ones and didn't find any sign that they were keeping, had a nursery by there. And it was just one of those things that happened. And I think she understood what I was saying, let's not start this. It ain't going to be a fun situation, because if she'd have come over there, I would have had to, if she would have come over there, she'd have probably hurt me. But I'd have got mine in too. And I don't want to do that, but you got to defend yourself when something like that happens.
Absolutely, but I agree with you. I think if you just the fact that she came out and you didn't run, told her something, you know what I mean? Okay, this person isn't running like all the rest.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it starts saying, well, I may be in for a butt whooping at this time if I,
well,
take it any further.
Go and get one.
There's a serious thought process going on in their heads. You know what I mean? And I think they can understand us. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I think tone of voice is everything, and you could say one thing on a text message, but because you don't have that tone of voice,
mm-hmm.
that person can interpret it as something completely different. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think for sure they understand us and stuff, and the fact that you didn't run and you're like, hey, I'm not here to hurt you. I'm not here to screw with you. Lady called me, wanted me to come check this out. Now I know what's going on. You go your way, I'll go my way.
And that's the way you gotta do. That's the way you gotta do it. You gotta set your step, and you said, right. Hey, I'm not here to harm. I'm not here to cause any trouble, and you back your way out, And
that's one thing I do too is I put my hands up, but I show I don't have anything in my hands. You know what I mean? And I think that means a lot.
We had one growl at us when there was 3 of us on expedition, and you can hear the growl. He goes, and I'm like, we got to get out of here. We got to go now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, back away, you know?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is later that night we were doing a live show from in front of her house, and after the live show, I went over to my pickup and was getting in the back seat of my pickup, and the big male walked right behind my pickup. He was the alpha, and I looked up and I saw him, and I heard him walking past my truck when I was leaned into the truck, and when I raised up, I looked up and saw him. He stopped and turned around and looked at me, looking at him through the back window, and he didn't growl, didn't do anything, but then he just turned completely around and walked across the road. He let his presence be known.
Yeah. He was reading you. He was checking you out.
Right. You know, and you can't mistake the big male's footsteps because it is just thud, thud, thud. Yeah, I've heard it several times, you know. You can't mistake it and stuff. And they will generally come out, like you said, walk behind your truck, look at you, because they look at you and go, dude, that's squishy like a bug. You know what I mean? Come on. You know what I mean? And then just go about your business.
Right.
Well, go about their business, you know?
Yeah, they can cause you a lot of physical harm if they want to. But it seems like the big male comes out to size you up, and when they size you up, like, okay, this guy is afraid of me, or if you're human beings emit hormones and pheromones all the time, and if you're afraid, they're going to pick up on that. Well, they can make you run. They can make you leave.
Just like a dog.
Right. But the thing is, I don't scare easy. And I don't get, I've been around enough of them in 30 years to know that if you show fear, whether it's the big male or not, you've done lost. And if they want to harm you, they will, just because you're scared of them. So I don't get scared. It doesn't bother me. I'll stand my ground. And when he stood there and looked at me, I stepped back and stepped up and stood up straight. And he just looked at me like, okay, might not be able to scare this one. And then he turned around and walked off. He just didn't want that issue going on.
Yeah, I think definitely the fear is the factor. If you, I mean, they step out and stuff, and you scream and turn around and run.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to capitalize on that, and they're going to keep you running. You know what I mean? They're going to get you out of that area and stuff. I think actual physical violence and hands-on is a last resort for them. I think they'll take every tactic.
Yeah.
To get you out of there before they have to get physical and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But getting over the fear is the hardest part. Being out there with them, for sure. Getting over that fear for us is the hardest part. But once you learn to control it, they know it, and it's game on. It's when they start. Okay, this guy's not going to run if we throw a rock at him. This guy's not going to run if we bluff charge him. This guy's, and then they start playing with you. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, they'll do that. I've had them. I'm 52 years old, and I'm getting too old and too fat to be running. and that's the simple truth. And you know, when I first started, checking out about Bigfoot, going out and doing the howls and doing the screams and and tree knocks and all this stuff, yeah, they could push me out of there quickly. For about the first 8 or 9 years of doing this, I'd run simply. And then it was like that 10th year of doing this is like, why am I running? They're 200 yards away and I'm leaving. There ain't no sense in that. I mean, if they was 50 yards away and they're growling at me and they're throwing tree limbs and they're throwing rocks at me, yeah, I might back off. But nowadays, I don't back off. I'll stand my ground. And, they take that as a sign of, hey, look, this guy ain't running. We're not going to scare him off. He just doesn't run from us. We've had a bunch of people out here at night, out running around or whatever, and they're out looking for Bigfoot, and they make these tree knocks. They're used to people coming out and doing stuff like that, and then people leaving. But when a person stands their ground, they give you respect. He's not afraid, and that's what they. I mean, they show you respect. I mean, they'll come in closer and look at you, and they might growl at you and see if that scares you, or they might try this or try that, or throw little pebbles at you to hit you in the back, or. But I've also found that. Only the squatching cowboy would ask me that question. If I hit a Bigfoot in my truck at work, I would pick up my phone and call my boss and tell him, "Hey, just had a wreck. I hit a Bigfoot." And take pictures. That's all I can do.
I need a tow truck.
That's all I can do.
You know what?
I need another truck. Bring me another one.
Yeah.
But if you don't show fear, if you can keep from running and keep from shaking and all this, and stand your ground, they will respect you as not as an adversary, but as you're not afraid. You just want to find out about them. You want to find out what they're doing, and you do things right. You show them respect, they're going to show you respect, because you have to respect something that's 7-8 foot tall, 500 to 1,000 pounds.
Cut that right.
Big Bertha.
Because if you don't, you're going to get hurt.
With something the size of your chest. You know what I mean? Yeah. They definitely know all about respect, and they'll test you and stuff like that. But I think not running and not screaming and not wetting yourself.
Yeah.
Lets them know.
Guys do that.
Lets them know that you know about them. And that, you know what I mean? So now they know that you know about them and stuff. So it's just, okay, well, this guy is not running. He knows about us. Let's play with him. You know what I mean? And it's just like a game of cat and mouse. Just back and forth. You know what I mean? But
oh yeah, I know.
It's
if you show them respect, if they come in, show them respect. Show them that you're not there to harm them. They're fine with you being there. Every once in a while, you run into a small group of them that want to push the boundaries. I've had them come up to within feet of me and you can see their form standing there, and they'll just look down at you. And that's just the way they are. They just want to come in and see how close they can get to you and see how far they can push to. And usually it's the young ones, the ones that are 6, 7 foot tall, and they'll come in and they'll get as close as you let them. And I've had them come in that close, and they'll stand there and they might growl at you, or they might, and if you jump, they won. They got what the reaction they wanted.
Yeah.
But if you don't, and you just stand and turn and look at them and you start talking to them, hey, kid, you better go back over behind mommy and daddy and leave me alone. And it's like it deflates them.
Right. Now it's no longer fun for them. You know what I mean? It's a lot like, your parents telling you can't do something, and then you go and do it, but, now you've done it, it's not fun anymore, because, but I mean, I have to agree with you and stuff, I mean, when I got growled at, he was literally 3 feet from me, and I didn't run, but I just took a big step to my left, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, I was so close, he probably could have just reached out and grabbed me, pulled me into the bush. Now I'm out there not, I'm out there not thinking that these things are in this area. Boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. But, my friend Parkway studied that video for a week, and he tracked him all the way back to where he stood up and watched me. And I went back to where he was standing up, and I estimate him to be at least 8 feet, because I'm 5'9", and I couldn't even see over the bushes. You know what I mean? If you were standing where I was to where he was, and if I was standing where he was, you wouldn't even see me. But in the video, you could see him, and I did a growl impression, and it was probably the best growl impression I ever did. But he ducked below the bush and slowly came back up. So I don't, and he's the one and stuff I used to call Devil Boy, which is now Fletch, because he's one of the best behaved Bigfoots I've ever dealt with. I mean, I could whistle once, and then he gets his attention. I'll whistle again, and then you'll hear him, walking up to the back of the bush line and then pacing back and forth. And he just comes to his bucket and gets his stuff and takes it elsewhere. And the other two, they just go to their buckets and rip it open, eat it right there on the spot, drop the bag, big mess everywhere, but he's very civilized. It's weird to say that about a Bigfoot, but they are very civilized in their minds. You know what I mean? They have their own structuring, just like humans do, and stuff like that, and they adhere to it very, very strictly. So it's interesting to get into that level of research. You know what I mean? Where you actually start to individualize each personality. You know what I mean? So if anybody has any questions for Oldbear, make sure you put them in caps. But I want to reiterate the Squatching Cowboys about the truck thing. I heard a story. Now I know you're in the trucking world and stuff like that. Where
I heard that the same story. I think
I don't know where it was, but a guy was dark road, no lights, 2-lane highway, one going one way, one going the other way. Smash! Those front ends are basically just fiberglass. They're all piece fiberglass.
They're a combination of fiberglass and plastic nowadays.
Right. And I think this guy was driving a Volvo, so it's probably a combination. And just destroyed the whole front end. I mean, he felt this. He went up on the passenger side, thunk. I mean, he said this bump was so big it felt like the rig was just going to tip on its side. You know what I mean? It jarred him that bad to the side. So he got out and looked, and there's this freaking 9 foot tall, 800-pound being underneath this truck. He didn't know what to do, and he ended up calling police. And police came out and said, "Well, your truck ain't going nowhere. Let me take you to a hotel for the night. And you can deal with your boss or whatever you got to do from there." I think they were just trying to get him out of the area, and he's all, "No, I got to stay with the truck. I got to stay with the truck. I got to stay with the truck. I got to stay with the load." And he said that very quickly, unmarked trucks pulled up, dragged that body out, winched it into the back of the truck, and they had one, not a camper shell, but they had one of the sliding tonneau covers. You know what I mean? Locked that thing up and took off. And they all came back to him and said, "Yeah, it was a pretty big bear you hit, wasn't it?" And he's like, "It wasn't a bear." No, they're like, "No, that was a pretty big bear you hit, wasn't it?" You know? So, okay. Well, I saw feet and hands. It wasn't a bear, but.
Would you like to know the backstory to that one?
I would love to.
I actually got a phone call from that guy. He lost his job because of that.
Oh, wow.
They fired him because he hit a quote unquote bear, and the damage to the truck, it totaled the truck.
It totaled the truck, right.
And the company fired him over it. And he wasn't ticketed, but his license was temporarily suspended shortly thereafter. And he was trying to find a job and couldn't get a job because of his license. And this guy had been driving for quite a while.
Yeah, he was a veteran.
And they worked him over to get him to shut up about it.
Right.
And, he wrote out the report. When he filled his report out, he filled it out and put down what it was, what he hit, and all this stuff. And the company got that. And a couple of days after the company put it in the record, that was gone. Somebody came in and took that file out and put another one in that he hit a bear. And, it took him like 6 months to find a new job. They shut his license off for about 5 months.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah. So
over a bear.
I mean, we listen to these stories, on YouTube and stuff like that, and some of them stick with us. So just like that one stuck with me. I mean, this is a truck driver, and I know you, and I mean, my father-in-law's a driver, and
right.
I know a lot of drivers and stuff throughout my life, so I'm very familiar and stuff like that. But this one stuck with me because this guy had a lot of details. How these unmarked trucks, and I mean, it had this ramp that was the size of the bed that just slid out and put down, and they just tied this winch around its legs and yanked it on up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was nothing to them. Oh, we got another one. Let's go clean it up. You know what I mean? So it was just, I don't know. So sorry about that noise. My neighbors are making margaritas or something behind me. In case anybody's wondering what that is. So.
I'd be partying. I'd be over on the other side looking through the peephole at the camera going, What's up, Kevin?
There's a couple of holes back there. I wouldn't doubt it. So sometimes, because I do this on my patio, they're right on the other side of that fence right there is my neighbor's kitchen. And I'm sure they hear me talking, oh, Bigfoot this and Bigfoot that, and go, what?
Sounds like Kevin needs a drink.
What is
I need
he
a margarita. About? He's talking about Bigfoot.
Yeah, right.
Here we go again. Yeah.
Give me a
here
bear.
We go again.
I'd rather have a bear.
Yeah.
But you know what? I mean, again, just like Lewis, just like Christy, Oldbear, myself, we know what we see, we know what we hear, we know what we smell, we know what we find. We know what it is.
We know they exist.
We know they are real. You know what I mean? But I mean, I've had people very openly talk to me about it and stuff like that. And my neighbor's actually one of them. And, hey, you're into Bigfoot. I got a question for you. And then there's some people who, until they have their own experience, they're just not going to believe anything. You know what I mean? So.
Exactly what you mean. I'm on the road and guys will, you be sitting in a driver's room, before all this pandemic stuff started. I used to get 3-4 stories a month from drivers. And now you can't sit in there and talk to anybody because they don't want you in there, sitting around, but everybody's got to have a mask on and all that stuff is slowly disappearing.
Right.
But I still have accounts from 30 years ago when I started this, that I haven't put out. And so here lately I've been putting out some accounts from my past of doing this. But you get truck drivers that'll see me walk through and go to the shower and they'll wait outside. Now, they'll stand outside, and when I come outside, they're like,
hey, you.
Do I know you from somewhere? And I'm like, no, I don't know you. And they'll tell me, well, I live in Arizona, or I live in New Mexico, or I live in North Dakota or South Dakota. And they're like, I know you from somewhere. And I'm like, well, I have a YouTube channel. And they're like, okay, that's where I know you from. Don't you go by Oldbear? And I'm like, yeah. Well, I got something I got to tell you, or I got a question for you. Can you tell me? They'll tell me what happened. And they're like, is that Bigfoot? I'm like, well, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how else to put it, but yeah,
And then I'll start asking them a bunch of questions about well, what did it look like, and did you get to see the face of this creature, or what color was the hair, or how big were the legs and the arms, where was its hands in comparison to its knee, and they'll start telling you all these details, and I've got to remember all this stuff until I get to my truck, and then I'll write it all down in a book I keep with me, and I'll write down their account, and then when I get home, I try to do it exactly like they told me the first time. But the whole time, and here's the biggest thing, when these guys or women are telling you these stories, they're shaking the whole time. They're scared. And you can see the emotion in their face and the way they act and the way they talk. And you can hear their voice tremble, especially if one gets up close to them, or it's standing at the end of the hood of the truck and it's looking right in the windshield. And they're like, you can picture that person their eyes being 3/4 of their face and their mouth on the floor of the truck. And they don't know what to make of this thing, and they're afraid that it's going to come in the truck and rip them out of the truck. And a lot of times, it's a benign encounter with a Bigfoot, but the problem is people are afraid the whole time. And if they tell somebody, they're afraid that that person is going to laugh at them and label them a nut.
Right.
And that's the biggest issue that you have in people actually coming forward. They're afraid somebody's going to laugh at them. They're afraid somebody's going to call them crazy. They're going to be labeled crazy. It's going to get around. Their friends, their family's going to find out. And they're scared, that people are not going to accept what they say to be the truth. They're going to call them a liar. I run into that all the time.
Yeah. We get, there's thousands and thousands of reported encounters, and you probably double that if you include the ones that haven't been reported. We all know that, these sightings go way, 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 way back. You brought up the Indians, and some of them have had issues with them, and some of them have coexisted and traded back and forth. And some of them just, they know they're there, and they do what they got to do to leave them alone. And these listen to the Indians. You know what I mean? They didn't lie. They didn't lie. I don't even think a lot of them have a word in their language for liar. You know what I mean? Because they don't lie. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, all of these stories started from some sort of truth. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, well, Bear, we're at an hour, my friend.
Okay, buddy.
And it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you again. And can't wait to see what you got in store for us coming up.
Well, like I said, I'm gonna do my 30 years. I'm gonna do it in 5-year increments. My first 5 years was pretty much I was pretty much fumbling the football the whole time in my first 5 years, and then after 5 years, it got better. And then after about 10 years, I figured out a lot of things and started, getting better at what I was doing. And today, it's if it's a bad situation, I'll try to go and help people. But we go out to my buddy's place now, and we sit out there at his place. He's got Bigfoot on his property, and that's basically all we do. We go out there and I'll make a couple of howls, and they'll come up there, and we sit out and we got hamburgers, hot dogs, steaks or whatever on the grill, and they'll come up there and smell the food, and they'll come up and sit around and just watch us and listen to us talk now, and that's basically all the Bigfooting we do today. Unless that's somebody needs help, and then I'm there.
Yeah, that's exactly how you do it.
That's how you do it.
Just go about your business; they'll find you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're curious little boogers, man. They will. It's kind of funny, sir, because now I'm realizing that we, as humans, and them as Sasquatch, we and them are both the students and the teachers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're teaching us. We're the students. We're teaching them about us. They're the students, and we're studying each other, all at the same time, and it's real interesting. It's real. Once you get deep into it and stuff like that, like we are, and yourself.
Pandora's box.
Oh man. But I mean, the deeper you get, the more you realize that they don't mean no harm. They're just doing what they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They test us.
It's the other things that are out there besides Sasquatch that you got to watch for.
Yeah. 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 The
Yeah.
old Bears has had his experiences with that one too.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
about to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had an experience with in a 3 weekend period, 3 weekends in a row of seeing a dog man, and then another dog man, and then a werewolf. In a 3 weekend period, I've seen what us hillbillies here in West Virginia call a wampus cat.
Wampus cat.
And I've seen other cryptids that are out there, and it's like, okay, I'm not
Yeah.
dealing with those. I'm just gonna go over here and find a Bigfoot. And, they're a little bit more tame.
Reserved. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a gugwe?
Gugway?
Gugwe?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Oh, no. They ugly,
I've
I
actually
heard.
seen a Janoskwa. 12 foot tall, sharp type teeth, very aggressive.
Yeah.
I've dealt with them. Yeah, they're not fun.
Yeah. Not something I want to experience.
No.
That's for sure. So I will stick to my Bigfoot all
Yeah,
day
shoot
long.
him in the eye to kill him. The gugwe?
Not good thing. Not good thing.
No.
The Old Bear, it's been a pleasure talking to you as always. And we'll all be looking for your 30 years with Bigfoot. And
come and watch. It'll be interesting.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, the whole topic is interesting and stuff, but when you start to meet people like you and others and stuff out there who like Tom Cantrell, he's been doing it since before the PNG video.
Mm-hmm.
He did it before cameras were readily available to the public, you know what I mean, and cell phones and stuff like that. But to hear his stories, not only do they go back a long way, the researchers go back a long way also.
Well, I learned from a guy that when I met him, it was in the 90s. On the early 90s when I met the man, and he had been doing it for 40 years. He was in his late 60s. And so that put him back in the 1950s when he was looking for these things when he started. And he taught me a lot in 2 years that I was with him. And the story about him will probably be in my second video coming out in the series. And it's still pretty tough for me to think about. It didn't end well.
Yeah.
And we were in an area that had the Janoskwa in them.
Wow. I will be sitting on the edge of my seat listening to your stories for sure, and I mean, that's all one of the big things about us doing this and stuff and getting these people on and stuff is we're not going to be around forever. You know what I mean? And we need to take what they've learn it so we could pass it on, because the next generation and the next generation is going to gain more and more information. You know what I mean? And we need to know where we came from. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for people like yourself or your friend that you learned from, and Tom Cantrell and Cliff Barackman and you know, all these wonder, you know, even Renee Dahinden, who wanted to just flat out kill one and bring in a body, you know what I mean? But he learned, you know, he is part of that history, and we need to know where we came from before we can understand where we're going.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Never finding Bigfoot.
Well, we find them. It's just the fact of finding people that wants to believe what we found.
Well,
You
the
know?
TV shows are not going to do it. It takes people like all four of us to do it, to be able to find Bigfoot.
We are not restricted. We are not restricted like they were. We don't need insurance policies and stuff like that, which restricts us and stuff like that. So, you know.
I'll say this, and back when I started, you know, everybody was of the mindset, well, they're, you know, it's a joke. Everybody you talk to, and in the last 10 years, that has changed. People now want to hear about it.
It's becoming more and more accepted. It's becoming more and more accepted and stuff like that. Yeah, and I think people like us and platforms like YouTube are a big part of that. And not to mention the fact that everyone has a camera in their pocket now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
but in the next 10 years, it's going to come to the point of everybody's going to know they're out there. Everybody's going to understand that they've been there for a long time, and the government's going to have to say, yeah, they're there.
Yeah, we're going to have to force their hand.
Everybody's going to believe it because, you know, most of the people, they listen to what government has to say and science has to say, and they don't acknowledge it because
they don't understand it.
They don't understand what it is.
Right.
But within the next 10 years, it's going to be widely accepted, and the government's going to say, yeah, they've been here for years.
Yeah.
And science is going to say, we know what they are.
Yeah, they're going to have to come clean and be like, well, you know, we didn't admit to it because of this, this, and this, and, you know, and you know. But, yeah, they've been here very long time. They're out there. So when you're out camping, you may get a visitor because, well, you're camping in their home, you know? So, all right, Oldbear. Yep. Been a wonderful time. And I will be sitting on the edge of my seat listening to your stories.
Okay, bud. So, thank you.
It was nice meeting you.
It was very nice meeting all of you. Yeah.
We need to get to talking to you some more about your other cryptid experiences. I want to hear all that.
I'll be in his 30 years of Bigfoot.
Everything, every detail will be in the videos coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Send me the link, Kevin, when you get a chance, and I'll put it up here.
Yeah. So, well, Bear, thank you very much. Thank you all for joining us tonight. And if you're not subscribed to Old Bear's Den of Bigfoot, go do it. Because he's out there. He gets firsthand accounts. He gets emails. He gets chances to go help people, which puts him in situations. He's out there. He's getting it done. And he's doing a great job doing it. So make sure you go check him out. Old Bear's Den of Bigfoot. And make sure you hit that subscribe button. Because, I mean, I've been following you since day one. You know? Yeah. Me and you go way back since you started the channel. So, you know, and it's a pleasure and stuff where we get to meet and become friends through platforms like this. You know what I mean? So, everybody, go check him out. He's a great guy. He's got great stories. And he's going to have some incredible stuff coming up. Let me tell you, because this guy's been through it all. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see you guys later. Y'all have a blessed night. And
All right.
thank you all for having me on.
Stay safe out there driving, my friend.
Stay safe.
Always do.
And if you just happen to hit one, don't call no one before you take pictures.
Don't worry.
Take pictures and throw the phone and send it to
I'll
everybody.
put it to you this way. If I hit one with the truck, as soon as I can get out of the truck and get my phone and take pictures, they'll come straight to you so you can put them out.
There you go. We'll post them
There you
everywhere.
go. Yeah. And then once you send them to me, just delete them. Just immediately delete
Oh,
them.
no. Can't do that. I'll lock my phone.
Well, because I'll have copies. I can resend them to you after everything is done.
Yeah,
You know
that's true.
what I mean?
Yeah. That's
You know,
what
I
I'll do.
mean,
We'll just set up a little.
Yeah.
We'll set up a little network between all the people that I know throughout the country that have channels and stuff.
Right.
And we'll just put them out there.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to do it.
Yep. It's the best way to do it. We all cover each other's butts, you know what I mean? So, all right, my friend. You have a good night and stay safe out there on the road, my friend. And we'll be all looking forward to your stories in 5-year increments.
All right. We'll see you guys later. Y'all have a blessed night now.
You have
Bye-bye.
a blessed night too, everybody else too.
Yeah. Thank you all for coming. And
thank you.
go check him out.
Yeah.
Go check him
Good
out.
Oldbear. Where's he from?
Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee. Ooh.
Yeah. But he's all over the country. He's all over the country.
Yeah, he's got that Tennessee twang. I love it. That's when we used to go camping. We used to go camping up in Tennessee a lot. Every year when I was a kid.
Yeah.
There's no place you'd rather be.
Yeah, exactly. Tennessee.
All right. So
All right.
there you have it.
There's
Oldbear's and Bigfoot. Go
All
check
these
him out.
handy.
Childproof, man. Every one of these is like a job.
Lewis
I'm
proof.
wore out by the time I open it. I'm like,
You said you wanted to know. You want a straw?
wow,
I'll send you one.
a crazy straw.
Yeah, I love these
feel-
things.
I haven't seen those in since I was little.
Yeah, no. When I found it, I was like, ooh.
Those are pretty cool. Somebody got their video banned, or what do you call it, banned from Crazy Straws, and you're drinking beer in the Crazy Straw.
Oh,
so
really?
YouTube banned them that video from that. They wouldn't
Well,
let it. They wouldn't let them.
I'm not
post it.
drinking beer, so
I know that, but I'm just saying.
Drink.
I'm just saying that I couldn't believe that they would do that. Because the Crazy Straw is related to children, and in the beer, and they're like, nope. I'm like, really? That's so stupid.
Well,
Yeah,
you know what?
Do that.
One of my videos got deleted by YouTube for being inappropriate for children. And it's kind of funny because the video was titled "Getting a Load of Gravel with My Father-in-Law." I wasn't even talking. We were literally in the dump truck. I was videoing us going down into the quarry, getting a load of rock, and driving out. It was like 3 minutes long, and it got bad for inappropriate for children.
What the heck?
Okay. So what do you constitute inappropriate for children? I mean,
Going to get gravel. You shouldn't go get gravel.
Well, 98% of people's driveways out there are gravel driveways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how you get traction in the snow. You just go dump a load of gravel on it. But yeah, I don't know. The algorithm is flawed. I don't know what to tell you.
What's wrong, Christy?
Huh? No, I'm just getting sharp pains in my head.
But with all that being said, you still got to love the platform because we get to do wonderful things like this. Talk to wonderful people like Ron Moorhead and Oldbear and Cliff Barrickman and all these other wonderful people we've had on the show.
Yeah, Christy's got somebody planned pretty soon here too.
Yeah.
Trying.
Yeah.
Well,
And we have next week open. I haven't got anybody. I had a couple people. I have somebody. I'm waiting for somebody to text me back.
You know, that could change at a moment's notice.
Yeah, exactly. I'm hoping. I'm waiting for a reply back from me.
You know, I mean,
Me too.
I didn't expect the writer of the movie Exist to ever even get back to me or acknowledge me.
Yeah.
Hey, that was a good show. That was awesome.
You know, so I mean, Ron Moorhead. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, huh?
That was a bucket lister for me.
Yeah, it was me
bucket
too.
Lister for me to talk to Ron Moorhead was. You know.
Well, my bucket list was having Duke as a friend. Believe it or not.
Hey, there you are. You got it.
There you go. You cross that one off. Cross that one off. You know. So
now Duke's on here.
Yeah, no.
Right.
Yeah.
See.
He's just like y'all. You know, y'all my friends too.
You know, hey, we're all in this community. We're all one big team. We're all one big team because we all need to put all this information into a big pot. You know what I mean? And when somebody doesn't, you know, is holding something back because they don't want to be labeled crazy or whatever, well, it's just that little bit of information that we can't share for other people to learn from.
Exactly.
You know, and to put things together. You know what I mean? We got to get all the puzzle pieces together before we can start putting a puzzle together.
Then we got to go up to him and say, it wasn't a bear.
It wasn't.
Come to the show. It wasn't.
It was the hairiest man that I've ever seen.
Yeah. It was my
never shaved in about 25 years. It smells like butt.
Oh my gosh. Not one butt, but a lot.
Yeah, really.
Wow. Yeah.
All right, so I'm getting ready to exit. So everybody have a good and blessed night. Love y'all. Peace, love, and blessings. May the week, hopefully tomorrow starts off good because I hate Mondays.
Well, I'm starting my Mondays off now. I switched my days, so I'm going to see my friends tomorrow. Cool. So I'm going to see. I'm hoping
over here.
I'm hoping that the human traffic is a lot less on a Monday. So
should be.
I worked all weekend. Tomorrow's my day off, so I'm going to go up and start doing stuff on Mondays. Hopefully,
it was packed over here this weekend. It was packed. A lot of people out doing stuff now.
Yeah, I'm hoping everybody got it out of their way in my area over the weekend. Yeah. Monday, it's just going to be me.
Yeah,
and I hope. I remember going out. They shut those the trails I go to when all of this started. This whole fiasco. They shut those trails down. And I think I sat around here for maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And I got tired of sitting around here, and I said, "F this! I'm going up there." Yeah, I went up there, and you know, I just started up the trail, and what do I see? I see 3 deer.
What the heck?
Walking around in the middle of the day, and it's like I haven't seen that in all the years I've been going up there because of the human, you know. And that's when it really kind of saddened me about the consequences of human impact. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even though we're not doing nothing to the environment or anything like that, you know, our presence is still a huge factor.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I was the only one up there, and I'm seeing deer. It's like, wow. I've seen the scat. I've found scat, but I've never seen deer. I saw a buck and 2 does across the trail right in front of me. You know what I mean? I'm going, that's sad. You know, I'm happy that I've seen the deer and I know they're up there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it saddens me because of the human impact it has on the environment, just even the presence, you know. So
yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, now at least you know now nobody's hoaxing the deer footprints. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the scat.
Right.
You know?
Right. Right.
Somebody's up there going,
Right.
shooting out little pellets.
Right.
Nice freaking hoaxers.
You might pick up
Ain't
a
no
turd.
deer up
Smell
here.
it. It might be Whoppers
Yeah. We're gonna get a photograph
or
of these deer.
Rolos.
Yeah, Rolos. They're gonna think they're freaking
M&Ms.
Tic Tacs. Chocolate covered Tic Tacs.
Chocolate covered Tic Tacs.
Yeah.
Oh, it tastes like plant matter.
Yuck.
Well,
What can
Anyway,
you do, huh?
that's
All right. Bye, Christy.
Bye, Lewis.
I know she's trying to get out of here.
Yeah,
yeah.
well,
All right,
See ya.
everybody. Have a good
Bye.
night.
Milk duds.
Milk duds.
That's disgusting. Yeah. Imagine.
See y'all later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.